Oh, when other time would we start trouble? When other time?
I thought we waited for like the announcement ping and shit, but all right.
Yeah, well, I'm adding the recording bots in here just so that we have two recording bots in here. So
Okay, bet.
Now
now
recording.
recording.
For the recording, this is Gray. Judge is Tyga. Topic Kratos versus Paper Mario. Do you
Mhm.
have like rules you want to set
Bro,
up before we start?
bro, and then he doesn't even wait for the ping. Like this is what I'm
Just
talking about, bro.
My bad, bro. My bad, girl. Go for the ping. My bad, bro. My bad.
And
Like,
then you didn't even wait for the fucking roles to be given to you.
my
Like you didn't
bad,
do
bro.
it.
My
Hey,
bad.
yeah, come on, man. Come on.
Chill.
Lock in with me. Come on.
My bad.
All right, here. And all right, I will tell you boys this right now. If it's like actually contentious, I will just say fuck you both, and I will literally just like, well, not fuck you both, but you know what I mean. I'm gonna like say that I'll watch the rec and then give you guys like an actual complete full judgment. Are you both okay with this? Are you both
Yes,
yes, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine.
okay? So and then okay, so cool. You guys should be able to post in scans chat, but you guys shouldn't be able to see general. Okay.
All right.
And like I said, for the rest of the VC, bro, please do not type in scan chat. You can type about the debate in general chat, but you cannot type about the debate in scan chat. Please, thank you. All right. And Aries, you want to go first with your fucking opening statement? Go ahead.
Yeah, so my opening statement will just be that I will, well, one, I believe that Kratos possesses immeasurable speed via the fact that in his fight against this twin conjointed brother, they have this thing called the amulet. The amulet basically grants them control and then over time. Kratos is able to resist its effects via outspeeding it, which will just match the description of UCW, being able to outspeed or be able to just outmaneuver time via your own movement, granting immeasurable speed. I'll send this cancer that. As for my win con, I have a few, but one of them would just be that Kratos has two things. One, he has the ability to summon these witches, something along those lines. And basically, what these witches do, they cause you to go insane and lose your mind. And then, in conjunction with that, he has this thing called the realm shift, which just distorts space and time and just traps you in like a sort of like slow movement, preventing you from really doing anything. So I think he'll just combo Paper Mario by doing a realm shift, try to pick him in like space and time, adding summoning witches that just makes Mario lose his mind and not really able to do anything since he's gonna be, schizophrenic or cuckoo. And that's my opening statement.
Okay. Great. You can go ahead with your opening statement.
All right, I'll go on ahead and say I'd like some scans for like everything that you just said right there, and we can go by point on most of the stuff that you're talking about. To preface this, I would like to say that my character scales to Universal Plus strictly because of the fact that the Void, well, not necessarily the Void, but the Chaos Hearts amped uh, Super Dementio to the point where he was stronger than the Void, and the Void is an all-consuming force that was told in a prophecy like thousands and thousands of years ago at the dawn of creation and Super Paper Mario that it was going to destroy all of creation. And all of creation inside of Super Paper Mario and generally the Mario verse is just an amalgamation of different they're not different space-time continuums, but what they are is different spaces, like different spatial dimensions, all under the same space-time continuum. As there's no evidence to say that these different spatial dimensions have different time axes as well. They all operate similarly in their time fashion. So the void was going to destroy that. Mario takes the void, and then he tanks it in base. By the way, he doesn't like have any amp to tank that. So that's I guess you could say like crazy durability feature, whatever the fuck. As far as speed scaling, Mario has an ability called it's called time stop, some shit like that. But the description of the ability is literally just Mario uses this to stop time. And so, whenever Dementio is amped by the Purity Hearts, or not the Purity Hearts, but the Chaos Hearts, he's able to just straight bypass all of the abilities that Mario possesses until Mario's amped by the Purity Hearts. So, given that the Purity Hearts are the equal and opposite of the Chaos Hearts in their potency, we have reason to say that Mario would just be able to move past time in the same way that Dimentio is able to. So, I mean, that's just my scaling for right now. I think we can get into hacks a little bit later. But as far as the mind control stuff that you presented, Mario is able to use paint, like literally the power of paint, um, to inflict like emotional damage to his opponent, pretty much. So like he can throw paint at people and it like colors their emotions and colors their brains. Like he can make you mad, sad, it's sort of like a mental hacks thing. But anyways, Mario's able to use power of paint. So I mean I don't think that he would really be affected by what you're talking about. As we can see Mario interact with mental properties, like he literally like whacks this dude's head back into existence, right? Where his head is erased, like there's no color in his head, there's no paint on his head, and like he can't remember anything. And Mario just like hits him in the forehead and like restores the paint to his head and restores his memories. So we can see Mario interact with mental properties using the power of paint. So I don't think that it's crazy to say that he would literally just be able to engineer himself out of the mental insanity. Oh, he can also flip flop between dimensions. So I mean, like I'm not really too sure about the whole trapping him in a space time warp, whatever that is. That was pretty vague. I'm not really too sure what you were trying to argue there. If that's BFR or if that's some kind of like I don't know. But I mean, that's my opening statement.
Okay, okay.
All right, I'm starting your 50 minutes now, by the way.
Yeah. So just for clarification before I make the claim, you're saying he's able to destroy all of creation via the chaos hearts or pure hearts?
So the void was going to destroy all of creation, and the chaos hearts are stronger than the void.
Okay, start right there. Start right there. Um, I think this is just gonna simply be out of tier, seeing as that the void was just gonna destroy all of creation, and all of creation in context to what they're referring to. It's just they're talking about like things that are just beyond universal. Just look in scans chat. It says right here, in the end, it was all existence, all worlds, all dimensions. That's simply going beyond one universe or one fourth dimensional. If you want, we can get into like the actual creation of the Paper Mario series and how high it scales.
So
But
you do
off that,
realize,
wait,
hold
wait,
on,
wait,
hold
hold
on,
on,
hold
hold
on,
on,
hold
wait,
on,
hold
hold
on,
on, hold on, hold on.
I'm not done. 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 And then um, yeah. So one, creation is just gonna be something that's bigger than like one little 4D fourth dimension. And then secondly, what was the thing that you said for like the chaos hearts and him scaling above or something along those lines? Because I think that's also another DQ. Since the chaos hearts are these conceptual things, and in the rules, conceptual things aren't really allowed. Only like
Where
physical.
does it say that the conceptual things aren't allowed rules?
Well, before we get to that, I just want you to repeat the claim. Like
Oh
that
yeah,
chaos heart.
I said that the chaos hearts are stronger than the void.
Okay, yeah. And the chaos hearts, just to be clear, are these non-tangible things. So that's also another DQ.
No, that's not a DQ. If
Wait,
if
wait,
your
wait, wait,
character
wait,
is
wait,
able
wait,
to interact, if your character is able to interact with
wait,
Mario,
wait, wait.
also, it's
I'm not
never
done.
shown. That, wait, hold on. It's never shown that just because a character is in possession of the Chaos Hearts that they automatically become intangible or non-interact or not able to be interacted with. If they make you invincible as an invulnerable, that's not that you're not being able to be interacted with. It's just the case that the attacks don't have an effect on you. So Dimentio is able to be interacted with whenever he has the Chaos Hearts, but he's not able to be harmed by a regular person. Is basically the gist of it. And also, as far as the thing that you presented in scans, that's not evidence that I presented. I wasn't going to use that as evidence. I was actually using Count Bleck's statement for saying that it was going to the void was going to destroy all.
Yeah, so, hold on. Because I
So
wasn't finished.
that's evidence. Hold on. So one, that's evidence
I
that
was
wasn't presented by me, and two, this also goes to what I was saying earlier about how there's no credence to say that these different spatial dimensions have a different temporal axis. You would have to justify that in order to say that they're completely separate 4D spaces. Otherwise, it would just be like an infinite amount of 3D spaces, if even an infinite amount. I won't even make that claim. It would probably be like 14 3D spaces all wrapped under the same space-time continuum. Unless you could justify otherwise. I don't think you could. Especially not using what I've given you as my evidence, because that is per the rules. So, do you
Evil,
have
okay.
anything else to argue at it here?
Yeah, just before we even get to that, I just want to simply write down the notes and clarify everything. So, in response to the void and what I brought up, you're saying that you're not referencing this statement, but instead you're referencing another statement. I'll just
Yeah,
ask you.
I'll post
Yeah, just in that statement. But I don't think
there.
there be any sort of like.
It's being sent there.
Yeah, okay. Let me read this. Let me read this. I do not have long to live. You must end my game before the void destroys all. So I think these are just synonymous as they're both talking about the void destroying creation. This doesn't debunk this can because my whole entire contention for the void is okay. You're saying the void is going to destroy creation, but oh my gosh, my bad. The void is going to destroy the creation, and the scans that I sent, we get more context to what creation actually means in context to
Okay,
Mario. Hold on,
that's
hold on.
fine. I accept it. I
I'm
look.
buddy. I'm not.
I look.
I
I
didn't
listen.
interrupt you.
Okay,
Go ahead.
all right.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm saying I agree with what you're saying about there being different spatial dimensions inside of the Paper Mario verse. I even said that inside of my opening statement. I
That's not
said that
even.
there are different dimensions inside of the Paper Mario verse. But I said that there's no evidence, there's nothing to give credence to the fact that these different spatial dimensions have a different temporal axis, which is what is needed to make something a 4D or a 4D plane of existence. So if all of these different three-dimensional spaces are host to the same four-dimension or are host to the same space-time or time axis. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up on my words here. But if they're all host to the same timeline, the time continuum, then they're not a separate 4D space. They're not separate 4D dimensions. They all branch under the same 4D structure, if that makes sense. It wouldn't be anything into it literally wouldn't be anywhere into fucking multi. It wouldn't be anything into that. It would just strictly be a large 4D structure that doesn't go into multiple 4D structures, so it wouldn't be capable of being beyond Uni Plus. You making that claim is a knowledge claim, and you have to prove that. That's a burden of proof that you have. And unless you can fulfill that burden of proof, we could just drop this point and we can go on to the next one.
My bad. I was getting a scam. What was the burden of proof or knowledge claim or whatever?
The knowledge claim is that all of these different spatial dimensions have a separate time
Yeah,
axis.
yeah, we can get into that. We can get into that. But before you interrupted me, like the whole point and reason why I respond is okay. We both agree creation has these set of dimensions, but we disagree as whether or not these dimensions have like distinct temporal axes that would make it separate fourth dimensional manifolds. The whole entire point I was responding to is that the statement that you sent is not distinct from the statement that I sent, right? So before I even respond to the other points, I think we should just simply stay on this point, as you said, point by point. So I'll just send a scan that proves creation is something that operates on a higher dimensional level. Just give me a second.
Like I said, I literally never said anything to contend the fact that there are multiple dimensions inside of creation. I understand how the Paper Mario verse works. I said it in my intro that there are multiple dimensions, right? The only thing that's in contention right now between me and you is the fact that you believe all of these separate dimensions have a separate time axis. I don't. So the burden of proof is on you since you are the one that originally made the claim that there is a separate time axis in each of these separate dimensions.
Wait, no,
If you can't fulfill the burden of proof, then you
wait,
lose.
hold on. No, my claim is simply that creation, like you just keep repeating yourself, but like just let me get the scans before I respond.
What are you trying to say?
No,
Like,
I'm just
I'm
that
kind of
creation,
confused here.
yeah, creation has like string theory, which is like an 11th dimensional, higher dimensional theory.
These are
So
not.
like,
I've never said anything about this.
but buddy, okay, bro, stop interrupting me, bro. Dead ass, like you're starting to get
Not.
fucking
This is
annoyed.
none of my
Okay,
evidence. You do realize that this is against the rules of the tournament to
listen.
present evidence
Okay,
that I
wait,
haven't
stop,
presented.
stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. You're already being a black person.
Hold on,
What I'm doing,
take it.
shut the fuck
Is this
up,
not
bro. Yo,
against the
bro.
tournament rules?
Okay, yo,
Yo,
okay, bro. I'm about to
okay,
explain.
stop,
I'm about to
stop,
explain after
stop, stop,
disqualification.
stop. All
Oh
right,
my.
all right. I'm gonna stop the time. We're gonna fucking. All right, I'll fucking serve me one of you, and then go on with it. Aries, I believe that you were talking first, so I'm
Yeah.
gonna let you go first. Then I'm gonna let Gray respond, and then we're gonna go from there. Is that okay with?
Yes, that's fine.
Bet. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Now, listen. The whole point, as you yourself agreed earlier, that your scan is not distinct from my scan. But what we're disagreeing upon is whether or not these dimensions and these worlds and just basically whether or not creation has separate time axes. Okay, so we just look in scans that here it scans that creation is something that's predicated and founded off of a higher dimensional theory of physics, that being string theory, which is something that reality operates off of 11 dimensions, right? So when the void is going to be destroying all of creation, and right here, the void destroys all, and in the scans that I sent, it elaborates upon that. We both agree that these scans are referring to the exact same thing, right? If we know that's true, we know that creation is something that's predicated off of a higher dimensional reality or higher dimensional interpretation. And you have like philosophers like Plato who also give like also here's like another example. Like here's like another scan of a higher plane of existence. Like I'm just gonna send all the scans that prove that these dimensions are not like existing like this manifold of like no distinction or anything of that nature. So let me just get all these scans real quick.
All right, I'm gonna unmute him while you start while you're like dropping like a shit ton of shotgunning scans. But I mean, and then I'm just gonna mute you. Right? Go ahead,
Okay, so
Greg.
first of all, I'm gonna get into the whole string theory soup thing. Second of all, the Wario Master of Dungeons or Master of Disguise playthrough part 11 is not included inside of the Paper Mario continuum. So that's another thing that you're doing that's breaking the rules. On top of providing evidence that was never provided by me, the person who's arguing for the character. Secondly, the string theory soup thing, that's name fallacy, right? We're not going to assume that just because it's called string theory soup actually means that the wonders of the universe are in the theory, string theory or M theory. We just can't do that. That's a leap in logic. Just because it's called something doesn't mean we can automatically assume that that's actually what the universe contains. And it's also a mistranslation if you look at the actual kanji for what it says in the Japanese version of the game. Anyways, it says that it contains the wonders of the universe, then like the knowledge of the wonders of the universe. These are all from different games that are not Paper Mario, bro. You're a retard. Second off, the over there, whenever it says we're going to a higher plane of existence, that has context. Goombas had literally just died. Or no, it wasn't Goombas, it was Toads. Toads had just died, and they were going to heaven, which is the over there, and then the underwear, which is like hell. So it's not that this is a higher plane of existence, like it's a higher dimension of existence, like it's some transcendent realm that is literally like above it, like it sees it as fiction. No, that's just not the case. It is the case in game narratively that it is a higher plane of existence, quote unquote, for souls to go to and reside inside of, which is still contained in the same temporal axes. Like none of this evidence that you've provided shows anything for any separate temporal axes across dimensions. This scan that you have where it shows pieces of design in the background, this is literally just level design. There's nothing that gives this credence to say that this is strings in string theory. This has no resemblance to string theory whatsoever. This actually looks more like chemistry compositions than it does string theory. This is just showing me that you don't know what you're talking about whenever it comes to, one, the character I'm scaling, two, the tournament that we're inside of as far as the rules go, three, the fucking shit you're talking about as far as string theory goes. Like, holy fuck, this is ridiculous. This is Super Mario 64. This is not Paper Mario. Like,
All
what
right.
are you on about?
All right. All right. All right. I'm gonna unmute Aries, and then I'm gonna server mute Greg. Okay, we're gonna be like this for the rest of the bit.
Okay. So multiple claims were made. Let's first start off with the one that I'm quote unquote breaking the tournament rules, seeing as that I'm providing evidence that you did not provide. That's just not true. As I've been saying the entire time, we brought up that the void and the chaos hearts are going to be destroying all of creation, right? The void destroys all of creation. The chaos hearts scale above the void, right? I then sent scans that, okay, well, when they say creation and when they're referencing the statements that we're both referring to, this is what actually is taking place. I'm not bringing up scans that you didn't reference. I'm bringing up scans that you referenced and that we both agreed upon that are actually in context what we're talking about. So no, I'm not bringing up random scans and hope to like DQ you. I'm bringing up scans that we both agreed to. So that's out the way. Secondly, for the name fallacy, hold on, let me just get the actual definition. A name fallacy is simply when what is it? A name fallacy is simply when we say that because this is called this, therefore it is this. So just because like, for example, a name fallacy would be that because they reference what is it? I don't know, like let's say like let's use Naruto. But for Naruto, let's say like a philosopher for Naruto references like Plato's idea. It would be a name for to say that because like the idea or the name itself is mentioned, therefore it must be everything holistically. That's not what I'm doing. I'm one referencing, okay, well, they say string theory, and then they go on to describe things that relate to string theory, that being how reality is kind of fundamentally mathematical, right? So I'm not just saying that, oh, it's string theory, therefore it's all this. It's string theory because it operates how how the IRL version works. So the name fallacy, that goes out the window. As for your response that one of my scans aren't even from the same game, I would want proof. But um the main point of contention, well, just give me 1 second real quick. Where is it at? Where is it at? Oh, is the other thing? Um Oh yeah, and then for like the chaos hearts. The chaos hearts, like I said earlier, they're conceptual things. I'm not sure bringing up non-corporeal things or those aren't allowed. So the main point of contention and the main relevant thing is that okay, for one, for Super Mario, uh, let's just like actually yeah, that's fine. We can just disregard the Super Mario scans because I got it mixed up. Those aren't part of Paper Mario. But for the other scans that I sent that you said isn't part of it, I don't need context to that. And then you say for like the higher existence, there's context to it, and the context is in reference to them going to like a spiritual plane. Um, one, I would need the surrounding evidence for that, and then two, under like what I'm saying for the verse and how the cosmology works. Actually, no, like the higher existence thing wouldn't really matter. Like, yeah, that doesn't matter at all. The main point that I'm referencing right now, let me think. Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So for the whole spiritual plane, whole spiritual existence, um, I don't really care about that anymore. Um, you said like the Japanese says like it's mistranslated. One, I want proof of what's mistranslated, and two, I want evidence for that. So before you even get to that, it's not a concession, as it's whatever. But I'll finish. You can mute me now.
Okay, switching the mutes. Yes, second. Here, go ahead.
All right, so for one, with the name fallacy, example of a name fallacy would be if in Naruto there was a move that had like the name of Plato's theory of forms, and because of the name is Plato's theory of forms, we would assume holistically that Plato's theory of forms is the case inside of Naruto. What you're doing is you're taking an item, and I'm going to post the item description in scans. The item description and the name of the item. The name of the item is string theory soup, and the item description is all of the secrets of the universe are contained in this soup. Drink not, lest you learn more than man was ever meant to know. What is the correlation between the name of string theory soup and the so-called mathematics that you say correlate with the name of string theory soup inside of the Paper Mario universe? I would love to know. I don't see any. All that I see is that there is a soup that will give you an unsurmountable amount of knowledge. We don't know what the secrets of the universe are. We don't know what that is. There's nothing that we can say that would accurately describe what all of the secrets of the universe are because it's an intentionally ambiguous statement, right? It doesn't mean anything. It's just an item description to say, wow, this soup will make you know a lot. You might need it in the future, right? To give to somebody or some shit like that. So for the string theory soup mistranslation thing, you're gonna have to give me a sec. I don't have that on standby. I'll pull it up though. Uh, what else? Yeah. So you said that you're not allowed to be atemporal inside of this tournament, and I just want you to know, like, the definition of a measurable speed is being able to move beyond time, right? Like, you move so fast that you're not affected by, like, you move outside of the speed equation, which is uh speed over time or distance divided by time. So I'm not really like sure what you're getting at by saying that atemporality isn't like exactly allowed. It's pretty much the definition of a measurable speed. Um, Like you're making yourself sound pretty dumb. And I still want evidence of there being separate temporal axes across dimensions inside of Paper Mario. But yeah, you can have your turn, and I'll get the evidence for the mistranslation.
All right, give me a second. Go ahead. You can go.
Oh, okay, yeah. My bad if it's not coherent, but I'll just make it more coherent and less stupidity. For like the immeasurable speed thing, you're just misled. One, I'm not saying atemporality is not allowed. It is allowed. What's not allowed is non-corporality, that being inherently conceptual or non-physical to where you're not be able to interact with. That's what's not allowed. I'm saying that the pure hearts or these conceptual beings, but the conceptual, if you just look at the rules, conceptual beings in nature are not allowed, since that they cannot be interacted with via aspatialness. They don't have any physicality. There's nothing physical about their properties that you can interact with. And measurable speed is going to be distinct from a conceptual thing, seeing that all a measurable speed is something that acts within temporality, just simply not linearly. Right? So measurable speed, for one, by definition, isn't even something that's like this non-temporal thing. It's simply temporal, just not operating on a linear level. So that's out the way. Secondly, you mentioned how the description of the string theory soup is that all the secrets in the universe are contained in the soup. Drink not unless you want to learn more than there was ever meant to know. This doesn't debunk anything, and this is not what I'm referring to. Well, no, it is referring to. The reason for why there's going to be a correlation for string theory and what is it? The mathematical one is because within the verse, and again, like I said, within the cosmology, we see things that being reality being running off of zeros and ones and mathematics, right? Containing mathematic equations in the back of it. In the back of the video games. Just look right there. Clearly, reality is something that's more fundamental than just simply like X, Y, and Z. It's mathematical, which is again part of string theory, right? So again, it's not that, it's just string theory. It's okay, they had the name, and then within the verse, we have things that correlate to the IRL philosophy. Um, I feel like there's something left, something else left unaddressed. Let me think. Um, Also, yeah, you want me to prove that there's these that there's more than just simple universes and space times. That's very easy, seeing as that within the Paper Mario universe, we have this thing called Dream World, where the Dream World contains all dreams. The dreams are all said to be universes. Each dream is separate from one another, which would just make it a whole entire multiverse, which again the void was going to destroy. Therefore, again, showing that the things that we're talking about is just out of tier and not allowed. So I'll just get those scans. Don't unmute them yet. Don't unmute them yet.
You got like 2 minutes to go look for scans, okay?
2 minutes, all right, bet.
I'm gonna set the same shit for fucking Gray as well.
Oh, you could just switch them back. I'll just send the scans for the dream
Yeah,
part.
I was kind of wondering. Okay,
Yeah,
let's kind
you can just switch them back. Also, he
all
doesn't
right.
provide Japanese thing. Just before I go, like I went to Japanese shit.
Okay, well, you can go ahead, Gray.
All right, if you look in scans, I want everybody to click on this imager link that I just sent. And I want you to look at the top, and then I want you to look at the fucking translation at the bottom. And I want you to read what that shit says on DeepSeek, on ChatGPT. God damn it, all these fucking bitch ass ads. And Google Translate. They literally all translate to Big Bang Soup. You fucking weirdo, right? Second off, the Dream Depot, I'm like 99.999999999% sure is never mentioned in any of the Paper Mario games. If you can find me a statement of Dream Depot being mentioned inside of the Paper Mario continuum, and you can prove to me using the Paper Mario continuum that every single dream is a separate space-time continuum, you know more about the Mario verse than I do. If you can prove that to me, then you have access to a deeper archive than I have, right? So I don't believe that that's possible. If you can do that, I will probably walk away from this debate, hands down, and I'll give you I'll give you the $100 from the tournament, and I'll keep on putting up another 100 for this tournament. Like, I'm so serious. It's that fucking impossible. Anyways, disregarding that, I never even mentioned the Dream Depot once again. So you're bringing up evidence that I never brought up. All of this is evidence that I never brought up the string theory soup until you brought it up. I never brought up this shit in the background, which, by the way, one of those things that's circled, it looks like an inequality. What the fuck does an inequality have to do with string theory? Like, you don't know math. You don't know what you're talking about. This math looks nothing like the math that's in string theory. Like, nothing here correlates with string theory. Nothing here correlates with string theory. It would be better to say that this is just a representation of fundamental reality in a way that, oh yeah, math describes the world, right? So, like, there's literally nothing here that correlates as strongly as you believe it does. There's no you don't have a preponderance of evidence to say that, one, string theory is the case inside of the Paper Mario verse, because, one, I just provided you multiple translations that disregard the main thing that lends credence to this argument. Two, this scan that you sent that has a whole bunch of meaningless equations circled in the background that don't even have numbers inside of them, like, this thing has an inequality sign right after what's supposed to be a division sign. That's supposed to be a fraction with an inequality in the middle of it. That doesn't even make sense. Like, what are you talking about? Jesus Christ, this is just fucking ridiculous.
All right.
Please drop this point so we can get back to the debate.
All right. So I'm gonna mute Gray, and then you're gonna go ahead. You can go ahead, Trouble.
Like, I'm just looking for the scans. I don't want to keep like responding to like the same shit over.
So you want to look for this? You're looking for the scans.
Yeah, because like that would just like everything up. For the interpretation that what is it? What is it? Just give me a second.
You got 2 minutes.
2 minutes. All right. There's like interpretation like, oh, for the string theory thing, it's mistranslated. I mean, sure, that's fine. That can be dropped. For Paper Mario and what is it? What is it? What was I saying? Yeah, for Paper Mario and fuck, I keep forgetting. Yeah, so for Paper Mario and the string theory, that's fine. We don't have to argue over that anymore if it's just mistranslated. Uh, for the other interpretation that these scans for reality being fundamental or being based off mathematics, that's what I was also saying. We're not inherently disagreeing with that. Just a concession on my part, not concession, not concession on your part, concession on your part. But sure, like I'll just get the scans that the dream pod, or not even dream pod, just that there's distinct space-time continuums. And even then, if you just look at the scan itself, the wording that's used kind of tells us that there's going to be some distinct manner and how it's all used. Things that all of existence, all worlds, and all dimensions. So they're making some sort of distinct separator. You're saying that it's all existent from like one little thing or like one little place where it's just all the exact same thing, but there's no like higher temporal axes. But the scan itself and the music which is describing itself just inherently goes against that idea. So I want proof that when it says all dimensions and all worlds and all dimensions, that it's going to be referring to uh a collection of things that all exist within the same under the same temporal and spatial axes. I would want proof for that. And then what is it? Uh Yeah, like my time is up. You can move it on to him.
All right. Go ahead, Greg. Oh wait, give me a second. My fault. For some reason, it just did not let me unmute you. Good.
All right, I'm gonna call that out. That's a burden switch like a motherfucker, right? You're the one that said that all these different timelines or all these different dimensions contain different timelines, and I said that there's literally nothing that lends credence to that interpretation. There's stated that way. All that we have about the Mario verse inside of Paper Mario is that there are separate spatial dimensions. There's nothing. That's what I'm saying. Is that there's nothing that lends credence to the idea that there are different temporal dimensions. Like there's nothing there. You can't find anything, and because you can't find anything, and you made the claim initially, you're trying to switch the burden of proof onto me and ask me, "Oh, well, you're claiming this." I'm not claiming that. I'm saying in the absence of evidence, this way, right? We have consistent absence of evidence, so we should just sort of throw our belief this way, right? I'm not making an exact claim. I'm taking a preponderance of non-evidence, right? It's sort of an inductive case. Anyways, what you were talking about the mathematical stuff and saying that that's a concession on my part. No, that's not a concession on my part, because what you failed to understand is that by your argument or your line of reasoning, what you're saying is that this image and the stage background, the stage, literally the stage design, right? You're saying that this makeup of colors on the stage and these random fucking symbols correlate to say enough, right? That this is correlation enough to say that string theory is the case in the Mario universe. And I'm telling you that no, I don't believe that. I believe that this might be correlation enough to say that, oh, mathematics is present inside of the Mario universe. That does not mean that string theory is the case, right? 2, I even said these are literally meaningless symbols. These mean nothing. This stuff means nothing. So, if anything, we have no idea if Mario verse mathematics are similar to ours in any way, shape, or form. If anything, this tells us that they're not similar. So, I mean, you would have to justify the fact that fucking Mario verse math would correlate to our math in such a way that string theory, M theory, and other forms of string theory like superstring theory or bosonic string theory would follow from that. Like you have a lot of burden of proofs right now on like 4 different points that you tried to argue one by one, and like you dropped the other 2 because you couldn't defend them. So, I mean, if Tigga doesn't want to call this and drop it because you're stalling and running the clock, and I know that you are, that's on him. But I mean, I think we should fucking drop this point because he's not getting any fucking where.
All right. So here, I'm gonna stop time real quick. I'm gonna stop. Give me a second. Serve me a gray. All right, I'm gonna let you respond one last time to this, and then we're just gonna move on. And if you don't, and if it doesn't even seem like that you're like even like giving a little bit more evidence to the points, we're just gonna move on from the point. I'm just gonna cut you off and tell you that it is what it is, and you're just gonna move on from it. So I highly suggest that you be clear, concise with all your responses that you're going to give for the 4 points that are still on the table for this fucking point. Okay? I highly suggest it. I've been kind of lenient until now because I do think that you're trying to add more clarification for the most part. But it does seem like at this point that you are just stalling, bro. And then if we want to give, actually, if you guys fuck it, I'm just gonna call it here. I'm just gonna be real and call it here. Because it's been like you've been doing it twice over. You've looked for the scans twice over, and I've given you enough time twice over. I'm gonna let you both conclude on this point, and then we're gonna move on from it. Okay? Let's-
All right, my conclusion on this point is we went over a lot of things, so I'm gonna go over the things that I think matter the most. And if I don't cover some things, I don't believe that that's grounds to say that I lost the point because I didn't respond to it in my conclusion. Because we all know that I responded to pretty much everything point by point while it was on the table. So, one thing that I know he's going to bring up is something about the Chaos Hearts and them being some sort of conceptual existence, yada yada yada, whoop de whoop. We've already went over the fact, or at least I went over the fact that just because that this is a conceptual object and the user is imbued with the power of the conceptual object does not mean that the user in turn automatically is conceptual in nature as well. Because we can see that characters that are not conceptual in nature are able to interact with dementia, right? Characters that we absolutely know for certain do not canonically scale to fucking the Purity Hearts or do not scale anywhere near Mario. They're able to interact with Dementio whenever he's empowered with the Chaos Hearts. Same thing with Count Bleck. Mario's posse, which is nowhere near fucking the strongest him canonically, they're not able to step foot to foot with any of the like major bosses that Mario can. They're not as strong as he is, right? So if he is a conceptual being like you're claiming, they're not on that level, right? They are able to interact with Count Bleck whenever he has power of the Chaos Hearts. They're able to interact with Dementio whenever he has the power of the Chaos Hearts. All that they're not able to do is damage him. He's invulnerable to damage, right? It's not the case that he's not able to be interacted with. He's just invulnerable to damage. The same way you could punch some like a baby. A baby could punch a 6'7" 300-pound just bodybuilder, right? Straight in the stomach. And it wouldn't feel like anything. That's exactly what it would be like if you hit, Count Bleck or Dementio whenever they're empowered with the fucking Chaos Hearts and Mario by proxy with the Purity Hearts, because the Purity Hearts are the equal and opposite to the Chaos Hearts. They're actually stronger. So that point, null and void. The point about the string theory soup: 1, name fallacy; 2, mistranslation, and you already dropped that point, so we're gonna go on with that. 3, the whole thing about the mathematics in the background. 1, this has no correlation to string theory in any way, shape, or form. 2, the images and the equations in the background lend no credence to say that Mario mathematics is anywhere near similar to real world mathematics in such a way that string theory would be a part of Mario mathematics, right? This is literally nonsense to us. I really want you to try and interpret this. What a smiley face, heart with eyeballs, footprints, parentheses equals square star / inequality greater than sign, greater than or equal to sign, star. What does that mean? Like, there's nothing there. You're grabbing at straws. Let's see. Is there anything else that I didn't address? Oh yeah, the over there thing that you were talking about with the over there. Hold on. Check this out. Let me get this scan. I got it somewhere in my folder.
Yo, you could not be posting a scanning or conclusions on the point, bro.
Oh yeah, my fault. But yeah, about the thing of the over there. I don't think that saying that this is going to a higher plane of existence now. Yeah, I mean, I'm not really exactly too sure how you would argue that is necessarily a transcendent plane of existence, because as it's called the over there, its name is literally implied to be just above, right, in the underwear. It's also just implied to be like down. And also the over there is like Mario versus heaven, like I already said before. So we see like Koopas die and they just go to the over there. Like, we're going to a higher plane of existence now. We're going up. We're going to the over there, over the world. You feel me? So, I mean, I think that's all the major points that we went over. Everything else that you brought up, everything that you brought up actually was not brought up by me, first of all. So that's a rule that you broke. And you also brought up hella shit from other games that weren't the Paper Mario verse. So I mean, I think you were just reaching at straws because I think you were terrified. End of conclusion.
All right. And Trump can go ahead and conclude on the point as well.
Thank you.
Did
Thank
the
you.
cart rip help the conclusion?
Whatever that means. The conclusion, and I think we can just base the whole entire debate off of this point, as like it's 12 a.m. I have to go tomorrow. But the whole entire point, the whole entire thing we were going over is just three main things. I brought up how he's using a conceptual thing, and again, in the tournament rules, things that cannot be interacted with or things that are inherently spatial in nature or don't possess physicality are just not allowed. The claim is never that his character is conceptual, therefore not allowed. The claim is that the thing that you're using to scale, that being the chaos arts or whatever, are conceptual, therefore it cannot be used for the scaling. He said I was birding switching because I asked for evidence, which again at the start of the debate, if you go back, you'll hear him claim that all of these exist within like a little manifold. There being no higher temporal axes. If you hear us go back and forth, you'll again hear him bring this up and up again. All I did was just simply said, okay, well, let's take a step back, look at the actual wording itself. If you look at the wording itself and then map on your interpretation, it can only really make sense if there's external evidence. Seeing as though you just take my interpretation and map it onto that, it fits perfectly. You don't need any sort of assumptions or anything else. All you have is this. Okay, that makes sense. Instead of this, well, it could make sense. We need more evidence for that. It's not a burden switch. Um, then thirdly, he kept saying that I'm like breaking the tournament rules. Again, the whole point is that we agree on the void destroying all of creation. We didn't get into what creation actually means. I'm saying, okay, if it's destroying all of creation, we know how the cosmology works and we know this and that, then okay, then it's just gonna follow that if it destroys all of creation, then still two of these things be destroyed, and then you're just out the tournament. Everything else was just disproven, seeing as that. But yeah, those are the only like main three relevant factors. We can just end it here.
All right. I'm gonna ask Gray if it's okay if he's cool with ending it here as well.
I mean, yeah, I'm cool with ending it there, bro. Like, yeah, that's fine with me. Hell yeah, that's fine with me.
Real quick. All right. I'm gonna save the rec.